Okay, welcome back. We are still talking about Massive's user interface. So let's talk quickly about the way that menus and sections work. Each section of Massive has a header, and it is in bold lettering, such as here, oscillator 1, oscillator 2. You have a filter section here, amplitude. Even these general pages have a bold heading. Global, for example, here has a boldface heading. Many of the sections also have a activate and deactivate button. You can see here this circle to the upper left of each section. The FX1 section is activated, and you can tell it is because the circle is in blue. If you click it, it will deactivate and it turns gray. Another thing to remember is that many sections have drop-down menus that we can talk more about what's in there later. For example, here in Oscillator 1, you have a drop-down menu for the different wavetables that you can select. In the filter, you have a drop-down menu for the different types of filters. And even within some of these modulation sources, you have some options in drop-down menus. You can tell there's a drop-down menu by a downward disclosure triangle that you can see here. So anytime you see that triangle, you know there's some options available there. A lot of the sections also have next and previous buttons. In the oscillators, for example, you can see there are left and right triangles, and that tells you that there is some next and previous options that you can scroll through that way. Also, many of the sections have these selector boxes, and they will be either light gray or dark gray. Light gray means active, dark gray means inactive. So when you click on it, it turns light gray with a white halo around the box. And that's one thing to keep in mind. One thing to remember is that these modulation targets down here look pretty similar. It's just a dark gray box. Those are not activation boxes. Those are modulation targets. They are not clickable, so if you click on it, you're not going to activate or deactivate anything. And that's how you can sort of tell that it's a modulation target and not a activate button. That is not the case once there's a modulation handle assigned to that target. So don't worry too much about that because we'll talk all about modulation handles later. But in Filter 2, there is an LFO number 6 in this modulation box. So if I right-click on that, then I do have some options in this pop-up menu. So right-clicking will pull up some options once we get into that. That will make much more sense. So that's how the menus and sections work in Massive. And now let's move on to the next lecture.